It's been almost 2 years since a missing teacher in Greenbelt was found murdered. Now the 33-year-old man accused of killing her faced a judge. Our Lionel Donovan has more details from the courthouse in Prince George's County.
Earlier today, Prince George's County's newest county executive-elect Aisha Braveboy gave opening statements as she outlined the state's case against Harold Landon III. She spoke in front of a packed courtroom today as she went over the grisly details of 59-year-old Mariame Toure Sylla's death. As she went over the evidence with the jury, including showing pictures of Sylla's dismembered body, she said, quote, "We can't bring her back, but we can bring her justice." Sylla first went missing on July 29, 2023, after she reportedly went out for a walk and never returned home. In court, police officers who looked into Sylla's disappearance told jurors that when they went to Sylla's house, they found her purse and ID in her apartment, but Sylla was gone. 3 days later, court documents say police were called to the rocks near a park in the Clinton area, where Sylla's body was found, decapitated and dismembered. Investigators were able to connect the homicide to Landon, who was already in custody for an unrelated domestic violence case, through phone records that placed him at the pond the day before Sylla's body was found. In court, Braveboy highlighted other evidence that points to Landon as Sylla's killer, such as Sylla's DNA being found on Landon's boots. The jury also heard from a witness who claims to have seen Landon at the pond area while he was walking his dog, and took pictures of Landon's vehicle. Sylla's sister also took the stand. She testified that Sylla moved to the U.S. in 2020 and found work as a teacher at the Dora Kennedy French Immersion School in Greenbelt. She also said she never heard from Sylla after July 29th. Landon now faces 5 counts, including first and second degree murder, first and second degree assault, and disposing of a body in an unauthorized place. Landon's defense attorney did remind the jury that there's no evidence that shows that Landon and Sylla knew each other before Sylla was killed, or that Landon had a motive to kill Sylla. However, he also said that a motive is not required for a first-degree murder charge. The jury was dismissed for the day and will be brought back in tomorrow to hear more testimony. And if convicted, Landon will spend the rest of his life behind bars. From the Prince George's County Courthouse, Lionel Donovan, WUSA 9.
All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises due to the Most High. And here you see yet another act of savagery committed by, in this case, 33-year-old white man, Harold Landon III, as he attacked, dismembered, decapitated, and hid the body of a 53-year-old school teacher. Ms. Toure Sylla in Clinton, Maryland. Now, he went on trial for this case, and he was recently found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Now, I'm going to play this other video, which gives you a little bit more of the details on how savage and evil this person was in the act he committed against our sister. This video is fair use for literary and commentary purposes only. Just watch.
You.
And I'm Larry Miller.
That's right. And the man who killed a beloved Greenbelt teacher will spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Yeah, today a judge sentenced Harold Landon III to life in prison without parole. Prosecutors say that he killed Mariame Toure Sylla back in 2023. Our Matt Gregory explains why the judge chose the most severe criminal penalty. And we do need to warn you that some of the details in this story are very disturbing.
Beyond the verdict, sentencing does have an aspect about the character of the convicted. And in this case, the defense attorney for Harold Landon painted a picture of a troubled, drug-addled young man, which created a volatile cocktail that resulted in a violent, deadly act. However, on the other side, the prosecution painted quite a different picture. A cold, calculated killer who not only dismembered the body of Mariame Sylla, but also attempted to manipulate friends and family into helping him hide the evidence. And in this case, a judge agreed with the prosecution, giving him life behind bars. Prosecutors say Harold Landon III randomly attacked Mariame Toure Sylla in a Greenbelt park. And not long after, officers found portions of her body near a Clinton, Maryland pond. All of this back in 2023. But earlier this summer, a jury found Landon guilty of first-degree murder. And today's hearing started with family members of Sylla bearing their hearts out via Zoom. A sister from the Ivory Coast describing a courageous and gentle teacher, and her son explaining the devastation of losing his mother.
A teacher, a mother, a devout member of our Muslim community. She was a peaceful person.
Landon's attorney told the courtroom of Landon's struggles with substance abuse, his abusive childhood, his father's death, and how that created a volatile cocktail that resulted in the tragic death of Sylla.
I mean, I think that it wasn't convincing, clearly. I think the judge saw right through it.
Prosecutors pushed back, explaining how Landon used a saw to cut up her body, then dispose of it in at least 2 locations. Then they played jailhouse tapes of Landon asking family members not to speak to police and to hide his work truck, the same truck used to dispose of Sylla's body. And detectives found her remains in 1 location, but have never found the rest.
And so that is disheartening because you want to bring everything to closure that you possibly can.
The judge agreed with prosecutors and sent Harold Landon III to life in prison without possibility of parole. In Prince George's County, I'm Matt Gregory, WUSA 9.
All right, so there you have a little more details on how his defense tried to use the old age narrative, the old age excuse. Well, he was dealing with mental abuse. He was a substance riddled. He had a bad childhood abuse, and he just lost his father. And all of those excuses did not negate the cold-blooded fact that he killed this lady, sawed her up, calculated, went and dumped her body in a neighboring county. And if it had not been for a witness who saw him, then he may have not been caught. Now, mind you, he also was in jail telling his family, don't talk to the police and hide my work truck where, some of the remains were found. And so this is an evil, calculated killer. And the fact that, he would attack this lady that he didn't know while she was out on the morning jobs, just explain how evil he was. Now, he was arrested initially for beating up, his girlfriend, his own girlfriend, and on his way into the prison, and while he was talking to his girlfriend, he was quoted as saying, "Yeah, I had to let the savage out." He said, "I let the savage out," not in those words. Matter of fact, I'm going to let you hear the prosecutor talk about this and a few other things before I come back.
So in one of the jail calls to his, presumably then his girlfriend, he said that he wanted to talk to her, but, maybe when he got out, about what happened right before he went into jail. And at that time, he was being jailed for the abuse of his, of the mother of his child, who lived here in Greenbelt, Maryland. And what he said was that right before he got entered the jail, that he let the savage out. And that was what we played, and I played during the opening, that I won't use the colorful language he used, but that the savage was released from him. And so what I think is that he is savage, that he committed a very savage act, but that he was also very calculating in how he covered it up. Because he did not, it is his right not to speak during the sentencing hearing, he can't tell us why Miss Sylla, because we don't believe they knew each other at all. They were perfect strangers, which is very scary. Perfect strangers, right? So I don't think we'll ever know his true motive, but what we do know is that he did it, that he was clear-minded that he did it, and that he was very calculating in trying to cover up what he had done. So this was something that was done with a sober mind, because you cannot kill someone, dismember their body, basically separate their body parts, because again, we haven't found her head, portion of her neck, her arms, and the bottom half of her legs. We don't have those parts, so we only have a torso. And so he did all of that, and then he decided to involve or attempt to involve his relatives, his friends, in covering up the crime. So he knew exactly what he did, and I think that the sentence today really illustrated that the judge was clear that this wasn't something that he did out of some type of PCP rage or something like that, but he did this because he wanted to, and he tried to cover it up.
What do you mean? All right, and so there you hear a little more details on how calculating and savage this man was. He was already in jail for beating up his girlfriend, and on the phone with that girlfriend, he's bragging about it, essentially talking about, I had to let the savage out, cutting off her head, cutting off her arms, her neck, and the only thing they found was her torso and a little bit of her thighs. That's what they're basically saying. So this is an incident of, once again, white savagery, hatred, saying that they don't know why her. It's just because, once again, he had to let that innate savagery desire to kill and destroy and dismember and bludgeon and mutilate a body. And once again, Maryland was a slave state, and always, heap on, those spirits, that energy that has been transferred, that natural hatred that has been transferred from ancestors on both sides of the history of this nation. But, fortunately, this animal will be off the streets, and, we'll see, hopefully he don't get it overturned and get to a psychiatric ward, and, they pull that, troubled childhood mental health angle somewhere down the line. But rest in peace to Miss Sylla, and, prayers and condolences go out to her family. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. You see the number 919-587-7782. If you do like this channel, please, subscribe to the channel, which helps this channel to grow. But I do thank you as well, and I pray you have peace and blessings. The scripture says all things that are hidden shall be revealed, and those things done in secret shall be exposed on the mountaintop.
Let's go, Rich. Let's go. You watching Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. The propaganda grammar, don't believe none of it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Who keep the people informed? Stories abroad from literary work where the narrative's wrong. The research is always on point, the commentary is hard. It's Rich Teller raising the bar. Follow along, shout out to FBA, still FTP, big up NFAC, and all my black families. It's three sides to all stories, which one you gon' believe? We run down on the false prophets when they come to deceive. 100% urban world news, current events. We don't like them lies. Media is biased, cause we got God inside us. Ladies and gents is power. If you don't know by now, look around, we the darkest hours. Cops squeezing hammers, cause they don't understand us. We stop and freeze with our hands, to kill us off like cancer. Don't speculate before the facts on the case. Telehouse, set them straight, watch what the rich investigate. You watching Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. The propaganda grammar, don't believe none of it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing.
Negroes have listened to the trickery and the lies and the false promises of the white man now for too long.